Toronto is known for its obnoxious people, its high housing prices, and its obsession with Drake.
But more than anything, the music scenes in Toronto is only greatness.
Antonio, we agreed that we would talk about only greatness later.
Yeah, this wasn't even a sentence, man.
Don't worry about it, man. Let's just start the show. I'm Antonio Diaz.
I'm Jason Weatherby.
And I'm Keisha Beatty, and you're watching The Journal. In this episode of The Journal, we'll be running through the six with my woes to explore the diverse music scene in Toronto.
We'll take a closer look at the local Toronto music scene through the band The Nursery.
Music can do so much more than entertain us. We will explore how one local DJ is trying to change an entire community with the sick beats.
We'll explore one man's big love for vinyl records and see just how they've impacted the music industry today.
We're going to meet a piano tuner who gives us the rundown on just how difficult it can be to tune a piano.
Samba is a dance popular in Brazil. We'll take a look at how one man changed the entire scene in Toronto with this samba.
And finally, we'll have a musical performance by two students from Centennial College's music program.
You're all familiar with October's very own, but how about we introduce you to Toronto's very own local indie rock band, The Nursery.
My name is Alex Pulak. I play guitar, I write, and I sing in my band, The Nursery. The Nursery started around 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago. I've been playing music for a long time, and it just got to a point where, I was writing all the music. I had learned about production. I had like a vision for what I want it to be like aesthetically and kind of beyond the music. I wasn't much of a lead singer at that point. I didn't sing any of the songs I was writing at the time, so me stepping up to actually like find my voice was a big deal, and that was like a big difference with The Nursery. There's been a lot of band members over the years. People have come and gone, although right now, I really feel like this is the lineup that currently exists is one that I really don't want to change. They're both so great. We're making this new record together, and their involvement is going to bring something really special to it that I couldn't do on my own. So yeah, different members come and go with all different reasons. I'll start with a tragic story. One of my closest friends and the drummer who was in this band the longest, who I had no plans of ever replacing, and he had no plans of leaving, was from the US, from Buffalo. Unfortunately, had a small run-in with the law and is now banned from Canada for 10 years. After trying everything, we realized there's just no way he's going to do it. And then some other members just felt like music was something that they couldn't commit to on the level that I needed anymore because of whatever reasons. Mainly because living in a city like Toronto is really tough, and you got to be giving a lot of energy to surviving here, My goal with The Nursery is just to reach as many people as possible, I love, hearing the impact that the music has had on people. It's amazing. Obviously with that comes with, taking the band like around the world. Like I want to be able to, the goal is to play as far and wide as possible and just, connect with as many people as possible. And, we're feeling it, we're experiencing it right now with the internet, which is great. But, this year we really want to make the steps to actually physically getting over to some of these places and playing shows. I don't know if I'm too smart or too dumb to stop. I'm just too passionate to give that up, and I believe that things will happen, and I believe that the music that I do is important. You know, the support I have gotten along the way from some of these people, not only in this country, have really given me the reason to keep going and do it. And I'm inspired every day by them, and I can't see myself stopping anytime soon. However, if you're getting into the music business to make money, get out. That's all I have to say about that. Get into the music business because you love it and you want to create something really great and you feel like you can contribute to it.
So here we are inside the dream, where dark is broken by the light. Paint my face in bleeding color.
Hey, they're not so bad. You like music, Antonio?
Man, I love music, man. Music is a part of my daily life. If I'm not listening to it, I'm editing videos for onlygreatness.com, so I'm always around music.
Right on, man. If you could work with one artist in the world, who would it be?
I'm gonna have to say Drake, just because he's the biggest artist in the world, you know? And he always has positive input for his music videos, and who wouldn't wanna work with that?
Exactly. Well, our next piece actually features local Toronto DJ Philip Lynch and his goal of creating a community-driven space in Scarborough.
Okay, let's bring it up.
Okay. We're using what we got then. This is what we got.
Alright, Joel, easily do it the beatbox. If we're gonna go all the way back, we're gonna go all the way
Music is just fun. You be able to create. You're in your own realm. You be able to create for other people, meaning, and just express emotions and different things that you feel. Music is very special because it's something that you can't see. It's something that you hear. It's vibrations in the air. It's just a whole nother realm that's you really can't touch into.
I need more snares.
My name is Philip. Also go by Flinch. Music producer, DJ. It kind of chose me. I was in sports when I was in high school. I wanted to be an NBA basketball player. That didn't happen, but I'm the person that got into a lot of different jobs. So my resume is just like over 15 different things. It just goes on and on and on. It's not until later getting introduced into music. Early, I did a little bit of piano lessons when I was younger, played a little bit of drums, sax in elementary school, and it just called upon me. I was more into business, more about getting money and everything like that, but now it's more about what can I do for the community. Hype is actually a nonprofit, started about a year ago, around 2017, late 2016. It's an acronym for helping your people evolve. What it is just a movement of just independent artists out just to inspire youth.
Okay. I'll show you the place. Unfinished right now. Okay. We got artists in the back. We got an area over here. Going to be a coat check soon. And if you keep following me over this way, we have artists doing their thing. Now, if you keep going this way, over here we're gonna have a barber / styling area, also known as rich cuts, where you can get styled and look rich. Unfinished right now. Barber chair. We got a what is it? A circle light thing. Mirrors. It's gonna be great. And I'm syncing all of that. Okay. Why don't you put the you can put the "You Send Me" beat. Okay, so here we're gonna have a recording area, also known as Hype Studios from there. So floors are soon gonna come. The ceiling's not here. Yeah, this is the main area, main station and everything. There was a point of where I did want to quit music altogether. I was just like, this is too much. When people think nonprofit, it doesn't mean you're not supposed to make money and grow. Understanding the fact that you're here just to help people. Money, you can just have the most money, you keep paying more. It's definitely a tool that you can use to help other people, but at the same time,
There's a lot of ways that you're able to impact other people without money.
It's so awesome to see local artists come together and create such an inclusive environment for music in the community. Antonio, what are you doing? We're in the middle of a show, look.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know we're back, man. With so much good music in the city, it's so easy to get caught up, man. And I have all of them on my phone, so everywhere I go, it's the music.
Yeah, I agree. Spotify and Apple Music are great streaming platforms, but have you ever listened to music on a vinyl record before?
What is this? A vinyl record? What's
Vinyl?
Is it the weird spinning thing that looks like a CD?
Well, yeah, sort of, but they were one of the only ways to listen to music at one point, and they date back all the way to the early 1900s.
Geesh, this is 1900. We're 2019. You don't need us anymore.
Well, just hold on. We're going home to see my dad's love for vinyl records, and we'll go watch him
God.
rediscover the joys of going back into a record store.
Nah.
Look how awesome this
You
is.
know
What
how
are you
old
talking
this is?
about? So what? It doesn't
Oh
matter. I
my,
love
it's-
it.
This is the town and these are the people.
Oh, my name is Brett. I'm Keisha's dad. I started collecting albums in the late '60s. This is the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper. This is the first album I ever owned when I was a kid.
This is the town and these are the people.
Oh, my name is Brett. I'm Keisha's dad. I started collecting albums in the late '60s. This is the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper. This is the first album I ever owned when I was a kid. I used to look at that picture a lot. And then there was subliminal messages, like Paul McCartney's got an OPP sign on it. I don't think you would necessarily see that on a CD package. So there's a more tangible kind of attachment to the music, I think, back then.
We're on our way to the Sonic Boom, looking for some classic albums. If we can find the Allman Brothers, I'd be like really happy. We'll see what's there. I've never been there before. This could be lots of fun.
Vinyl never totally went away, but it's one of those things where the industry in the early 90s kind of convinced everyone that like CDs were the way of the future and they sounded better and they were more portable. And then suddenly you have like this generation of people that never had a physical collection of music. They may be music lovers, may love music as much as anyone, but the idea of curating something physical that's yours is kind of new to them. Well, I think it means different things to different people. It depends on who you ask, because there's a whole new generation of people that are either discovering for the first time having an actual physical collection of music, or there's a generation of people that had that, got rid of it, and are now, you know, in their retirement years or whatever, and getting back into it and really enjoying rediscovering music that they used to listen to, or discovering new music on a physical format. So, you know, there's people that collect people collect records for all sorts of different reasons.
Oh, looking at Neil Young albums. Wow, got that CD. Wow, I've got an original of this. Tonight's the Night. I didn't know they were this expensive.
So this is Eat a Peach by the Allman Brothers. Live stuff from the Fillmore East. Best live album ever. So I've never played this on vinyl before. I've got it on
like Spotify and MP3. Really interested to hear how it sounds on vinyl. It has a much more warmer sound. So we're about to open Allman Brothers Eat a Peach album. It's been a long time since I've opened an album. So, whoa. Early 1970s art. Best song, Trouble No More, number 2 on the second album. So we're about to give this a spin.
What did you think about my dad? Jason!
Sorry. I'm trying to see if this piano's tuned. He seems cool, I guess. I'd like to check out that Allman Brothers record.
Well, we'll have to double check his schedule because Brett is a really busy man. I didn't know pianos had to be tuned.
Once or twice a year, actually, because of the elasticity of the strings.
Wow, you sure know a lot about pianos. I once tried learning how to play the piano, but I guess that wasn't in God's plan
Yikes.
for me.
Well, in our next piece, we're actually going to meet a piano tuner named Jamie Musselwhite. And he knows more about pianos than I could ever learn about.
Awesome.
It's like editors to movies. If you saw an unedited movie, it would be unwatchable. If you heard a concert with an untuned piano, you wouldn't be able to listen to it. Especially for someone like me, who's really way over the top sensitive to this sort of thing. You're you're doing something which, according to acoustic physics, can't be done. The only way I can really explain it is to say that all of the notes in the piano have to relate to each other in a certain way. Mathematically speaking, every octave, like that's an octave, is a vibration of the string which is twice as fast as the previous one. So, for instance, that note is causing a sound vibration of 440 cycles per second. This note is 880 cycles per second. So it's twice as fast. The problem is that all those other notes in between have to be equally spaced between them in order for us to think that the piano is in tune. Do by yourself. It's not you can't just put on a YouTube video and learn how to tune a piano. It'll take you years. Yeah. Learning to tune is exactly like learning how to play. When you start playing, you may be playing, right? That's if that's all you learn, then you've got at least 2 years of practice before you can play an entire song, right? And then the more you practice the piano, the better you get. And you add things to your repertoire, you become more proficient, you can play more and more things. It's like a tuner. When a tuner starts out, very limited as to what they can handle, what they can deal with, what they can modify and make better. But once a person has got, I'd say, at least 5 years of experience, then they can probably tune. Well, creativity is creativity, right? If you are a creative person, you have to have a creative output of some sort, right? So for many years, my favorite thing to do was to take old pianos, rebuild them, and make them like new pianos. But a couple of years ago, I injured my shoulder. And I had to kind of stop. I still to this day have trouble raising my arm, so I can't tune uprights. I can tune grands, but I can't do all the sawing and screwing and everything that I used to do. So that creative output was taken away from me, and so I just immerse myself more into writing, because when you're creative, you have to do something creative. And it's the same thing. I like to cook, because that's a creative output in a way. I like to write. I like to write music. I like to, so creativity is creativity.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Jason. I did not know you needed to tune in a piano ever in my life.
Well, Antonio, you learn something new every day.
Big facts.
Like I didn't know there was a Samba scene in Toronto, or even what Samba was.
Oh yeah?
But our next story is about a Toronto man who found the Samba scene in the city, and it changed his life.
Okay, show me this.
Oh, mics.
My name is Alan Hetherington, and I'm a percussionist and a drummer, and I specialize, I guess, in música brasileira, Brazilian music. I was here in Toronto studying at the university, and it was one summer day. I was by myself walking down the street, and I heard some music, and I thought, wow, this sounds really interesting, and it was coming from a club, but it was Sunday afternoon, so I thought that was a little bit unusual. So I opened the door to the club. There were no windows, so I couldn't see in. I opened the door, and there was maybe 10 guys gathered around a table in a dark room, and these guys singing and playing percussion instruments that I'd never seen before. And for me, it was, wow, it was like opening a treasure chest. These guys, they basically took me under their wing and said, you want to learn how to play this stuff? I told them I was a drummer. One of the guys spoke English well. And I said, wow, it's so interesting because, very soon I'm on my way to Peru. And they said, well, Peru, that's close to Brazil. Here, I'll give you my address. Come and visit. And then when I got to Brazil, I stayed at the drummer's house. And it was after Carnival, so they were doing weddings and club gigs and all this stuff, and they treated me like a VIP. I mean, they were just so great, and they slowly let me play, right? So, and because I played the drums, they'd say, oh, let the gringo play, and they'd go have a smoke or chase the girls or something, right? So I'd play and be so excited about it. And then when it was time to leave, the leader of the band said, come back next year and I'll hire you for Carnival. So I played with them for 12 years after that. So I went back and forth and lived there for a bit and lived back here, and sort of over that time. That was my Brazilian music education, really. Posso falar normal? Sabe, às vezes eu não sei por que eu tô nessa terra. Você sabe? Sei, de vez em quando bate tipo de... Não entendo mesmo, sabe? É por isso que às vezes até eu me sinto assim, putz, por que eu tô aqui? Eu devo estar lá. E por que eu tenho esse elo tão forte, né, com a cultura brasileira? I remember before getting involved in Samba and playing in orchestras, not being quite sure if the audience really liked it or not. I think when I got involved with Samba. I got involved with it in a time of my life where that visceral nature was really important, right? And also the dance is really important. And music actually has a function, right? It has a real strong function to generate that energy to inspire people to dance. And I really liked that kind of interplay, the interplay of, it's almost like there's a yin and yang. There's like a masculine side of the drums and the feminine side is the dance. Not that you can't be feminine and drum and masculine and dance.
So we'll do the slow Afro thing, maybe once in a bit. Then we'll do the transition over, okay? And then we'll just hope for the best. Here we go. So.
The interesting thing in Samba is this idea of syncopation, the idea of stuff that is off the beat. There's usually a phrase that is off the beat, and then there's a phrase that resolves to be on the beat. It's interesting because it's almost a metaphor, this idea of conflict and resolution, going back and forth. There's a contrast between that. And it's a very complex thing, and then it's a very straight ahead thing. Even the idea of doodla, 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 dot, dot, right? The pulse is here, but what you hear over top, doodla, 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 right, has a different kind of sense, pulse, like a hidden pulse inside of it. That idea, that concept is kind of the magic.
Music can have a huge impact on someone's life. That guy was just walking down the street one day and he had his life changed, all because of music.
Yeah, I am probably the least musical person in the world, but I can also agree that music really impacts my life on a daily basis as well. Whenever I'm upset or I'm stressed out, listening to my favorite album really does help me get in a better mood.
Speaking about music that will put you in a better mood, up next we have two students from our very own school, Centennial College, from the music department that have an amazing performance that I hope will put you guys in a better mood.
Awesome, yeah. Please join me in welcoming Arturo and Carlos to the stage. So why don't I just get you guys to introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Carlos.
I'm Arturo.
So Carlos, our whole show has been kind of about the music scene in Toronto. Can you speak a bit about what it's like to be a musician in Toronto?
I would say very challenging since it's such a multicultural place and we have all kind of genders, but as well it's kind of cool because you can bring something special to the place. So it's been friendly for us.
Awesome. And Arturo, you're going to play two songs, I believe?
Yes, two originals.
You want to talk a bit about what you're going to play for us?
Yes, the first one is called Te Diré, which means I'll tell you, and it means it's about the light we all have inside.
Awesome. Well, take it away, Arturo and Carlos.
Te diré que somos alma que volverán a ser renovada, una luz real que llega a este ser a poder aprender a ser humano, ser humano, ser humano, ser humano. Oh, si pudiera borrar de mi pasado tantas torpezas, tal vez la vida sería más llevadera, pero a la mala se aprende más. Oh, si pudiera borrar aquellas escenas como quisiera, borrar aquellas escenas cuando no era yo el que actuaba y te hacía llorar. Pero no corras tanto, levántate. Te necesito para poder seguir recorrer cantando. Seguir cantando, porque es así. Debes entender que el tiempo a tus pies no es en vano, que no existe cruz que debas recoger y todo dolor es en vano, es en vano, es en vano, es en vano, es en vano. Oh, si pudiera retroceder el tiempo como quisiera, aprovechar los momentos cuando estaba cerca y te besaría un poco más. Oh, si pudiera cambiar algunas escenas como quisiera, cambiar aquellas escenas cuando no era yo el que actuaba y te hacía llorar. Pero no corras tanto, levántate. Te necesito para poder seguir recorrer cantando. Seguir cantando, porque es así. Debes entender que el tiempo a tus pies no es en vano, que no existe cruz que debas recoger y todo dolor es en vano, es en vano, es en vano, es en vano, es en vano.
All right, give it up for Arturo and Carlos.
Man, after seeing a performance like that, I wish I was musically talented. All I'm really good at is making pretty lame Drake references.
No worries, Keish. Soon, I'm going to teach you how to get down.
Really?
Like to get down. Yeah, I'm going to teach you, but you're just going to have to thank me later, though.
Okay, that's enough with the Drake references. Let's focus on wrapping up here.
Well, we started from the bottom, and now we're here at the end of our show.
We hope you enjoy taking a closer look into the dope music we have in our city, and we'll see you next time.
Come back next week for our show on the spirit of competition. I'm Jason Weatherby.
And I'm Antonio Diaz.
And I'm Keisha Beatty, and we're joined with Carlos and Arturo, and we'll see you next week on The Journal.
And now Arturo and Carlos will play us out. Give it up for them, yeah!
Dicen que la muerte es el final. ¿Quién sabe? Quizás sea solo un paso más allá. ¿Quién sabe? Quizás debas antes aprender a dar.